Entrepreneurs, flipping houses is not a good side hustle. Look, real estate can be very lucrative. Most of the world's millionaires and billionaires are real estate moguls. However, the TikTok gurus will make you seem like it's easy to get into, that all you got to do is use someone else's money, leverage the bank, leverage a private lender, take their money, put it into a house, and either fix it up and sell it at a quick profit in just a matter of a few months, or buy a house and get a renter to pay the mortgage. I see these TikToks and these YouTube reels all the time. Look, real estate is a very difficult industry to be successful in. And construction is also a very difficult industry to be successful in. There's always something that comes up, whether it's real estate when it comes to contracts, legalities, and negotiating, or construction. There's always the unforeseen things that if you're not super experienced in a certain area, you haven't seen it all, you're going to encounter something that you didn't expect. So we're taking real estate prospecting, real estate investing. You're combining a really difficult industry in real estate and a really difficult industry in construction. You're combining them and doing it at the same time because you're trying to buy the property, the asset at a good price in a location people want to be. And then you're also trying to put together a construction project that's going to meet a budget. These are all things that are really difficult for seasoned pros in their industries to do. Yet you're somehow, as a side hustle on the weekends, going to just take on a big loan, do it yourself in a matter of a few months and make it quick and easy 50 grand. Look, I know that there's always exceptions to the rules. There's always people that might have get lucky or have a natural knack for things. They can maybe jump into something and start having success right away. Maybe they're good enough at negotiating, or they're good enough certain aspects of this that they can get by while they figure it out and they're able to make a profit. Maybe get lucky, make a big profit and coast off that for a while. But for the most part, most people that kind of just think that it's easy, that all I got to do is get the loan with some print money. It's going to pay for itself. Look, there's going to be contractors that don't show up, contractors that don't know how to do their job because you don't know how to do their job. So you're not going to know what to look for. You're going to get bad. You might get a bad rate on a loan, or you're not realize that you don't have a great loan from a hard money lender. You're going to run into a deal where you're fixing up the house, the contractor doesn't show up, you miss a deadline, and all of a sudden you get a balloon payment on your hard money loan. There's so many variables. There's so many things there's so many different areas of the house that could go wrong in a remodel. That's just thinking that all I got to do is get the money and it'll print itself. You're setting yourself up for disaster. So entrepreneurs, listen to me from experience. I have a construction company. I've dealt with many investors. I know the ones that have success. I know the ones that end up going bankrupt. I'll tell you a story. I have a friend that's a really good investor. I've been doing roofs for him for years. I just recently did a roof for him on a house that he actually lost the auction on 3 years ago because it was an area that he wanted to get. He really wanted this house. He wanted to flip it. But he was in a bidding war, and he had a certain dollar amount he would not go above because he knew that what he had to put into it, to the area where the actual max was, and what he wanted was a liability in this project. So he would not budge. Now someone outbid him. 2 years later, that house was back on for auction again because the investor that overpaid for it tried to fix it up real cheap, cut a lot of corners, couldn't sell the house, and ended up upside down on their hard money loan to the point where he had to file bankruptcy, and the house got put back out on auction. And my friend was able to buy it. It was essentially all he had to do was install a roof and sell it. It was one of his quickest flips ever. So the money comes to those who are patient, those who know what they're doing with their money. And this was a project for someone that was inexperienced, thinking that they could time the market correctly, took on a risk that they couldn't cover. That's, I think, the biggest thing with kind of trying to over leverage yourself or go for gusto or go for the moon on these things is you're putting yourself in a situation. There's no way, there really is no quick buck. You've got to grind it out, know your craft, know what you're doing. You're not trying to time the market per se as much as you're just trying to do the right things and repeatedly do the right things and stick to a plan, execute that plan, try to execute every day. And that's the real side hustle, is developing your skills, starting small, growing from there, building your network. Instead of trying to do a side hustle where you become a real estate mogul on the weekends, why don't you hang drywall for an investor? Maybe that's where you start if you want to learn the construction side of home flipping. Maybe you get your real estate license and you work in an investment, you work in a wholesaling office, trying to learn the buying side of properties. Start small. Keep your full-time job while you hustle on the weekends, while you build that skill set. It might take you a couple of years, but you'll do it right. You won't rush to set yourself up for complete where you have to rebuild. You rush to end up starting from zero. Instead of starting from zero and taking your time, you rush and you end up spending those couple of years rushing, and then you still end up back at zero where you started. So again, to recap, to all your entrepreneurs out there thinking about your side hustle, what you want to do, look, start small. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Grow your skills. Use the skills you already have. Build your network. Don't try to get rich quick, because you're gonna end up broke. Again, this is Ryan with Selling University. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Look forward to talking to you again.